what up?
Yo, what up? What up? It's Kills.
And this is Jared back at it again for another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. And we got a classic this week.
Yeah.
We got Grandma's Kisses and Squidville. So Grandma's Kisses, classic SpongeBob episode.
Yep, a classic.
This is like in the books for like this is an over 20-year-old episode and it still gets brought up. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So SpongeBob goes to visit his grandma, and when visiting his grandma, he gets the full treatment. He gets cookies, he gets to lick the spoon from the cookie dough, gets a bedtime story read to him, and then he realizes, oh, it's 3 o'clock, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
So when he gets to the Krusty Krab, in arguably one of the most savage moments in the Bikini Bottom residence, SpongeBob comes in with a kiss mark on his forehead, and they just start gunning. Yo, the one dude, especially a big baby with big diapers.
That's one of my favorite jokes.
With James' little feet in him, and carries his blankie around.
He was going in on him.
He was gunning him, and then the crowd even got pissed. They were like,
all right already.
Like, dang.
He was going. He would have kept going if they wouldn't stop.
100%. That would have been the episode. Full 11 minutes right there. Just him gunning. And you sucked your thumb again. Like,
yeah, he was going in.
Also, as a side note thing, I kind of, maybe it's just me, but this is also the first appearance of SpongeBob's grandma in the title. We saw SpongeBob's parents before, but I love how they have like the normal sea sponge thing. Because that was my first exposure to like a sea sponge, but SpongeBob clearly looks like a normal everyday use sponge. So he's either disformed or he's the square in Bikini Bottom, like he's the square of the family. I'm like, I like it. It's hip to be square. Yeah, so I call this in the books one of the greatest lows. So after getting humiliated at work, he confides in Patrick and tells him, like, I was embarrassed. And Patrick's like, you're one of the most mature people I know. And, you just need to be an adult.
Yeah. He said you got to stop acting like a baby.
Which is crazy because, this is actually like, Patrick's ideas. We got to go over this real quick.
Okay.
Just briefly. This man said, have I ever not been right? I took notes on it. And like the pictures... SpongeBob on this giant rocket trying to reenact Toy Story. You had a pumpkin, him putting it in a funnel, and then wearing Speedos.
Yeah, weird. That was a weird montage.
Look, this was also breaking the mold for suggestive jokes. I'll say that.
For
sure. But they get the idea that we need to, act like adults. They get themselves sideburns. Freeform jazz. The look. Okay.
The sideburns are hilarious. They had a little pork pie hat or whatever they're called. That was funny.
Looking like Wolverine.
And SpongeBob was like talking in his mature accent. Oh, I am a grown up now, mother. I'm sorry. Or grandmother. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Sorry, Mama. Kisses have to stop.
Yeah. Kisses are for babies, for which I'm no longer. You're like, who do you think you are, bruh?
He thought he was an adult. He was in there just like, but,
But why that type of adult, though?
And it's crazy, too, because when I think about the sideburns and the hat that they had, I was like, what are you trying to be, like this UK hipster or something?
I don't even know what, like from the 60s, though.
60s, exactly. From 1960, looking like an Austin Powers background dancer. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
But in the moment where, the grandma accepts it at first, he's like, oh, okay, that's fine, but what am I going to do with all these cookies? Patrick does. I just did the switch.
Yo, Patrick lost his mind.
Savage.
He lost his mind. He completely, he turned into how SpongeBob was acting in the beginning. He was like a baby. It was a baby, really.
He said, keep them coming,
He put on a bib. There was loads of cookies on that table.
Facts. Not to mention, it's crazy. This is why I call it so savage. it was Patrick's idea to be an adult in the first place.
Exactly.
So for him to just throw, this isn't the first time that he's thrown SpongeBob to the curb. Flashback, rock bottom. Hey SpongeBob, the bus is here. He's the worst. Like,
oh man, that's too funny. Yeah, so he's going in. He's got the bib, the stupid little cookie hat,
cookie eating hat.
And he's demolishing these cookies, and Grandma's coming up with like plates and plates and plates of cookies.
Oh man, oh meme worthy moment. I mean,
oh yes,
I have that as my meme worthy.
I'm gonna put it there too, or just the fact that like everybody's like, "Oh, Grandma's cookies," with like that voice. Like Grandma's voice is also like one of my favorite jokes in this.
Yeah,
because like the way that she talks is like very. I don't know, just very authentic grandma type.
It is.
Oh, SpongeBob. You're a grown man now, SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for babies. So SpongeBob is mad at Patrick because he, is acting like a baby. He's eating all the cookies. And then SpongeBob is like, bro, what you doing? You're supposed to be in this adulthood thing. That was your idea with me. And so, SpongeBob's starting to get jealous.
Yup.
Did you find out?
Yeah, she was in Happy Days.
Happy Days. The mother?
Yup.
Oh, the mother of Happy Days. Oh, okay. Happy Days, Friday.
All that outfit still.
Ready to pray for you.
So she apparently was in, all right, so she was in an adaptation of Sabrina in 1954. Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. So Happy Days is really like what
her
she's
thing.
For.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
See, I didn't even watch Happy Days.
I saw a couple episodes here and there. It was never really my thing. I'm not a big. I know the Fonz.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. To me, it's like it's that 70s show for the 70s.
Maybe I'll take maybe when I have a day off, maybe I'll do like a Happy Days marathon or something.
I'm gonna leave it on the back burner.
Yeah, man, these old sitcoms you got to keep up with.
All in the Family is All in the Family, Jeffersons, Good Times. That's like Happy Days. I don't know.
Man, I used to have Good Times marathons for sure. Yeah. Like weekends.
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh,
I'm gonna have to get back to that.
Can't with some of the episodes, but anyway. So, what was your favorite joke in this episode?
Man. My favorite joke is when what's it called? SpongeBob's grandma is like, oh, you're a grown man now. You're just, you started this basically. He's like, you started this. So, the time comes where he has to go to work, and then he's like, well, I guess I'll just walk away in the cold world of adulthood. He's like, so long. And then the grandma's like, okay, I'll see you later. Get out.
She literally said, you can get the out of here,
literally, she was like, okay, close my door.
Toodaloo. She literally said, like, all right, like, yo, I know.
And then him crying uncontrollably after that is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. This man created a flood.
Oh my God. He was going in. He's like,
sprinkler. I mean, the grossest one is still where he cries into a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Drinks it, and then it comes out of his eye. Like, it's just.
Nah, the one where it comes out of his eyes and it fills up in his mouth, that's the worst one.
Yeah.
And that would be something I changed. I would take that out.
Yeah.
That scene was disturbing.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, you see, for funniest joke, I think I'm gonna honestly give it to. It's just Patrick in general. Like he was
hilarious.
He's so hilarious. I can't pinpoint like a certain from the introduction of freeform jazz to like the when he switches on SpongeBob. Yeah, his character, he's killing it. He's becoming the real MVP in this season. I'm like, all right. But as for what I would change, it's gonna be a hot take. I don't think I would change anything.
Okay. I mean, it's a good episode.
Yeah, it was solid. And it ends with them making amends. One thing I will say is that if you are a Ren and Stimpy fan, another popular Nickelodeon show, the ending of this where the characters are like looking, because it seems very random that like Squidward came all the way to Grandma's house with the people in Bikini Bottom to look at him. It's like
right.
But this was a recurring joke in a couple episodes of Ren and Stimpy where they had like rando characters kind of looking in the window.
Yeah, the fish from the restaurant. Yeah.
Yep. Or yeah, just something like that where they're just like looking like, oh, like, no, nobody will ever find us, and then it's just like them.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like a little callback to that. There's a lot of cues with like Ren and Stimpy and SpongeBob. Definitely a lot of musical cues, but maybe that, I don't know. I've always, like I've said this before.
That's interesting.
That they took a lot of cues.
Interesting.
Ren and Stimpy walked so that SpongeBob could run.
Interesting. And yeah, they were able to like, okay, what can we get away with? What can't we get away with?
Because that was the thing as a kid. Like my mom.
Because they did that in the next John too. The next segment too.
The next episode, we're going to get into the suggestive jokes. My goodness.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was not allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy until I was legit a teenager.
Really? See, my mom and dad weren't really like tapped in like that. They were just like, oh, it's just another cartoon.
Yes.
And then, eventually it started coming on later. And then, we had our own room. So we were just watching whatever,
Well, there are some parents that say even for SpongeBob, the suggestive jokes that are in there, like, they're like, no, we don't want our kid watching it and everything. Yeah. It's like, but.
Yeah, my parents didn't monitor what we watched like that. We watched everything.
That's the thing. But Ren and Stimpy, for sure, that was one where can't. Mm-hmm. Could not watch it until I was older. Not much older, but still. But yeah, Grandma's Kisses, though, like, again, I think it's a very good episode, very solid, the reason why it's a classic is because, the introduction to Grandma's, but it's such a funny premise. Yeah, like,
it is.
It's just like, and it hits everybody where it's like getting older and wanting to still have your inner kid. So kudos, SpongeBob. Any final thoughts?
No, just a classic episode.
Before we get into this hot take episode.
Yeah.
Squidville. Oh, man. This should be a whole novel. Like, Squidville. Okay, so we discovered something when watching this episode, for disclaimer. Squidville is, in a way, the segregated community in Bikini Bottom. We're going to get into why, but we just want to know before we get into premise so the viewers can make the final call. If you think, put it in the comments. Get some engagement in there. So, Squidville starts off because SpongeBob and Patrick get reef blowers in the mail. After, I love this quote, when SpongeBob says, hey, we haven't improved Squidward's day yet. Like, they hate this man.
Yeah, they always bothering that man.
Improved Squidward's day. It's improved is clearly a code for...
Right.
So, they reef blow his house where they take the windows, then they say, oh, put it back. Another savage SpongeBob quote where he's like angry. And I'm like, dang, that's a low blow where SpongeBob says, you're like a steamed vegetable, only smarter. And I just got it as an adult. I'm like, that's kind of insulting. Like, yo.
Wow.
But they destroy Squidward's house for like the umpteenth time. And Squidward's just like, listen, like, this is getting tiring. I'm moving away from here. He finally moves. And where does he move to? Tentacle Acres, where it's a community where everybody is octopus, because Squidward's not a squid, where everybody is an octopus, and all of the creatures that look like Squidward live in this one community. So, from that point, Squidward is getting used to the lux and flow of, like, what's going on in the community, like this interpreted dance, canned bread, the clarinet. Everything that Squidward does in his hobbies on a day-to-day basis, like, he has at this place. And he eventually gets tired of it and realizes, and again, I think this is another classic episode, he realizes at the end of the day, deep down, he's just like SpongeBob and Patrick because he likes having fun. This is the episode that really brings Squidward full circle for why he does what he does. Like, there's episodes like Pizza Delivery where it's like, okay, he clearly cares about SpongeBob. There's, like, little episodes here and there throughout Season 1, Season 2. Check out those episodes also where we touch on, just how Squidward, like, deep down cares about SpongeBob, but this is the one where he fully, I think, accepts not only being a resident of Bikini Bottom, but like these are his neighbors. I don't think there's another episode in the pipeline where he tries to move again either. There might be,
I don't remember. I don't remember one after this.
He just accepts the antics.
Because he got it after this.
So, what is your favorite joke, Hughes?
Let me see. Squidward, gets acquainted with the neighborhood or the community or whatever. This was a big community. It wasn't just like houses and stuff. It was like if a whole not even that. If a whole town was like its own, separate from other neighborhoods or whatever. Because there were a bunch of houses. They were like townhouses. There was a grocery store. There was a dance studio.
Yup.
They had
a whole park.
Right. There was fire hydrants, so that means there's a fire department there.
Yup.
Had to be police there.
I was going to say the police officer.
So it's like, dang, how big is this place? And so as you remember watching it, it's guarded by just like this giant golden door.
Yeah.
And then it's got a guard and stuff like from another room, cameras.
Yep.
He's in like a whole security room.
Office. Yep.
Bro, that's crazy.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. But think about it. Even to get into this community,
you have to be like Squidward.
Exactly. You have to look like Squidward and have his same personality. Like they literally said, like, "Can we help you? Are you alone? Have you now or ever been a sponge?" And then, that's crazy that they said, you cannot be any other creature but this to live in this community. And I'm just like, but think about it. In a way, this is the only parallel I see. I guess, a school of fish. Under the sea, other fish stay with other fish, other sharks stay with other sharks, things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They've kind of made, Bikini Bottom this melting pot that it's just why are you separate from Bikini Bottom there?
Right. Nobody else has that community like that.
Nope.
Wait. Didn't we bring that up before?
Yeah, we did.
That Squidward was like the white person of Bikini Bottom or SpongeBob?
The token, yeah.
No, not the token. He's just like the uppity white guy
stuck up and everything.
Right.
The preppy,
right, I'm too good.
Except Squilliam, I guess.
Well, yeah, Squilliam. Well, yeah, they're all the same. They are the white people of Bikini Bottom.
And that's why I was it might get a little controversial because it's in a way, I don't know if that was Steven Hellenberg's mission. Because it's just
I don't know, but that's just how it plays out. Because think about it. So if we say that, think about it. So they were saying that SpongeBob was gay, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he's a gay dude.
Yeah.
And then Patrick is the friend. Whether he just be the cool white guy. Maybe he's a black guy. Who knows?
See, that's the thing. I've never seen race in Bikini Bottom until this episode.
Exactly right. I'm just coming off the dome. And then Squidward is just like that angry old white Republican neighbor. Just like, God, I hate these guys.
Yo.
And so he's always complaining. And then he's like, you know what? I'm moving back to where I came from. So, he comes back to Tentacle Acres. And he's doing all the stuff that SpongeBob and Patrick used to do. And he's like, oh my goodness, I'm just like them. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Squidward definitely has tendencies where he thinks he's better than everybody else. And I'm just like, why?
Exactly.
No? Because at the end of the day, take Mr. Krabs, for example. I feel like on a very educational and also business savvy level, I would say that, while Squidward might think he's smarter, at the end of the day, Mr. Krabs owns his own business.
Yeah.
So it's who's really the more successful? And it takes Squilliam, for example.
Yeah. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Squidward is just one of those Democrat pretentious wannabe successful guys. I don't know.
Maybe, but
Wannabe cultured guys. You know what I mean?
But clear as day, like, this community, like, made it its goal to say, like, nobody else allowed except for people that look like us. I was like,
right.
That hurt. Like, it's just like
segregation
in Bikini Bottom. I was like, oh.
Yeah. But anyway, my favorite joke was when Squidward was arguing with the other guy. Yeah. He's like, I heard better comebacks from a turkey sandwich.
Get on life. Oh, man. Oh, another. All right, segueing into favorite joke also. That was.
Yeah, that was it.
So, segueing into favorite joke also. Patrick again, where he looks at a fire hydrant. Well, let me say this. So, SpongeBob and Patrick make their way into Tentacle Acres because the fried oyster skins that Patrick ate, like, gets into it and they get into the community. So, trying to find Squidward came with a birthday cake that was in Patrick just said sorry. But they're looking at like, because obviously everybody looks like Squidward, so they're, are you Squidward? No. Are you Squidward? No. Patrick looks at a fire hydrant. Are you Squidward? Pause. Yeah. That's okay. Take your time. Like, it's just like, oh man, like hilarious. Now this is I don't know. You know what? There was a meme-worthy. But before we get into our meme-worthy moments, what would you change? Because I have two things.
Nah, I really don't have anything to change. I would say more so the premise of this episode was pretty interesting because it dealt with a lot, you know, like the possible, you know, segregation / race thing.
Right.
But it was also interesting to see that, like, the idea of a utopia, and then Squidward finally got what he wanted after all these episodes and stuff. But when it came down to it, he was still unhappy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because he probably just, he wasn't satisfied because he was just like, oh man, I belong in Bikini Bottom.
And also there's a theme of, like, repetitiveness. When you do the same thing day to day, every day,
it can get boring.
It gets boring, yeah. But SpongeBob and Patrick, Patrick's there, but SpongeBob truly in Squidward's life brings a different adventure, entertainment. Like, every day is something
spice to his life.
And I still don't. We'll get into it when we get to the episode "Life for Crime."
Okay.
But or not. I think of the one where Mrs. Puff goes to jail, but there's a parallel to this that we'll talk about.
Okay.
But the thing I would change, I noticed this. The minor thing is we never got a perceptive of what Squidward is like at the Krusty Krab, like him traveling, because he still works there. But my wife was actually mentioning this when we were watching it, like, you know, like, maybe they just didn't show it in the transition. And the transition is, again, he goes to the grocery store, so, damn, his house must be filled with canned bread. Goes to buy the bread, the dance, and playing the clarinet, and riding his bike. So that's for sure, like, meme-worthy moment, because it's just like, you know, like, seeing that repetitiveness.
Yeah.
But I think the one that takes the cake, and I was going to say paralleling to that, do you remember the episode where Mrs. Puff goes to jail and SpongeBob's like, oh, like, she's missing what it's like on the real world, and it's like the dude waiting in traffic, the dude at work coming to bed, honey.
Yeah.
Dear. Like,
yes, dear. Yeah, what part of town is that?
It's still Bikini Bottom, but it's just like,
that must be downtown or something.
That is my meme for life. Like,
coming to bed, dear.
Yes, dear.
Nah, you can't have life be like that.
Oh, hold on, I got sidetracked. Okay, so thing I would change. Squidward comes into Tentacle Acres with no luggage, no anything.
Yeah.
And just his clarinet and a chair.
Him and Clary.
And the chair. That's it. So he can sunbathe. I was like, this man did not pack. Like,
so that makes me, maybe he didn't move out of his crib.
He had to have, because that transition took place over at least minimum a week. Minimum a week. And I'm sure if you break it down of it being every single day, like, it has to be 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's why I'm like, nah, he was there for a minute, but it's just like, I don't know. So, I mean, I would change that. I just feel like I would, have him have more storage. It's a minor change. What would you change?
Nothing. I wouldn't change.
Solid?
Nothing. Yeah.
All right. And then anything else before?
No. Like I said, I thought it was interesting. Not too many jokes. Oh, the dirty joke.
The suggested joke. So
talk about the dirty
there's SpongeBob's always been like riddled with like a bunch of jokes throughout like every episode where you might find a little something. There were two in particular. You mentioned earlier Patrick having a cake in his and the point being and he even looks at the camera and gives that little wink like the eyebrow like doo doo like
crazy.
What? But there's when Squidward finally like breaks down and has a reef blower and like is to their eyes causing havoc in Squidville. He takes the eyes and nose off of two individuals, gives one individual two eyes and one individual two nose, and the two nose look like boobs.
Yeah.
Very saggy Squidward looking boobs. And the eyes literally, he turns his head, he's like, what are you looking at? And the eyes are like those. And I'm like...
The jaws was drooping.
Yeah. Dang, they legit, I don't know how they got past the FCC with that one.
Man. Yeah, I don't even know.
I mean, it's not is it the worst suggestive joke? I feel like there might, again, the panty raid episode is still the one that is banned, theoretically.
Yeah.
So stick with us, we will cover it, even though it's not on Paramount Plus, but... we'll still cover it because I think it's a part of season 2, if not 3. So
yeah.
All right. So
that's it for me.
All right. So stick with us on this journey. Until next time, this is Jared.
This is Keels.
Another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter in the bag.
Thanks for tuning in to another fantastic episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. Don't forget to follow Bikini Bottom Banter on TikTok and Instagram for even more content. Subscribe to them on YouTube and Anchor, plus turn on bell notifications to be updated on their latest episode. And if you've got your own jellyfishing stories or favorite SpongeBob moments, remember to share them with us. You might just hear them on our next episode. So until then, stay bubbly, keep smiling, and remember, subscribe to Bikini Bottom Banter to know all the under the sea.